This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello everyone, my name is Brad.
And I'm Denise. We are the hosts of World's True Crime Podcast. Every Monday, we release an episode researched by me about the most heinous criminals throughout history from across the globe.
And then every Thursday, we will release an episode from me about disappearances, UFOs, the unexplained, and strange history. To lighten up the episode, we take part in movie trivia at the time of the incidents.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts and find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
We also can be found at worldstruecrime.com. So just remember everybody, the world's not always as it seems.
No, it's not.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
What is going on, and welcome to Take on the World Lockup. Up until now, we have only looked at United States prisons, but I want to travel overseas for a second and take a look at the Federal Governmental Institution, Penal Colony No. 6, Federal Penitentiary Service in Orenburg Region of Russia. It's also known as the Black Dolphin Prison. The Black Dolphin Prison is Solon-esque Orenburg Oblast near Kazakstan border. It is one of the oldest prisons in Russia and also one of the toughest. The original jail, Ostrog, was used for life sentences of hard labor. The first mention of this comes from 1745. The prison was built after Pugachev's rebellion was put down in 1773. The prison was reconstructed in 2000. The prison got its unofficial name of Black Dolphin. The name derives from the sculpture of black dolphins, which is made by prisoners sitting at the front entrance. The black dolphin is a real marine mammal living off the coast of Chile. It gets its name because after death, the skin of the dolphin appears to darken. The prison put this black dolphin sculpture at the front door, telling inmates, if you are here at this prison, you are already dead. At the Black Dolphin Prison, there is no such thing as a release date. While in Russia, there is no death penalty, the guards have ways to make life worse than death. Once you are here, you will never leave until you die. In over 300 years, there was no escape from Black Dolphin Prison until October 22nd, 2016. Alexander Alexandrov escaped after leaving his post at the cinder block factory. Details of the escape are very sketchy to say the least, and there is no word if he was ever found or apprehended. The prison currently houses 700 of the most serious criminals in Russia: pedophiles and child killers, cannibals, murderers, serial killers, and terrorists. Altogether, the inmates here are responsible for killing 3,500 people. That equates to 5 murders per inmate. Each cell door has a photo, name, and description of the crimes committed of the prisoners occupying the cell. This is so the 900 officers who work for the penitentiary service never forget what the inmates are in prison for, and eliminates any possibility of sympathy. The inmate's uniform has a patch with a photo, name, and cell location stitched on the right chest. The inmates are allowed just 4 visits a year. Some inmates can choose where they work in the jail: clothing shop, wood shop. They earn money that can be used to buy extra food and personal items, make telephone calls, and pay restitution to victims of their crime. The prison is a library and a small church, which was built and painted by the inmates here. There is no real recreation yard. However, inmates are granted 1.5 hours a day in a recreation cell, where they can basically pace back and forth. While the inmates are in the recreation cell, guards search the inmate's living cell for contraband. Just 2 decades ago, none of these privileges existed. But scrutiny brought about by many investigations have opened up new privileges to inmates here. Each inmate is checked by an officer every 15 minutes. And there are in-cell cameras that monitor 24 hours a day with light and motion sensors. There are 3 doors to every cell: a huge metal door, a cage door, and a second cage door. Basically, each is a cell inside a cell. All 3 doors are never opened at the same time. Up to 2 prisoners are in this 50 square foot cell. They are only allowed books, newspapers, and a radio in their cell. Inmates are woke up at 6 a.m. and prohibited from sitting on their bunks for the next 16 hours. Just as we mentioned in our video on the Eastern State Penitentiary, inmates are blindfolded when they are brought in the front door and when they are moved between buildings. However, this Russian prison takes it one step further. Inmates, when they are escorted, are bent over at the waist facing the floor, cuffed behind the back when leaving their cells. This is done for maximum control and so that the inmates cannot view their surroundings. This is done in an effort to disorient them, making it impossible to learn the layout of the prison and plan escapes. Meals of soup and bread are eaten in their cells, and they are delivered through a slot in the door. When given an order by officers, inmates are required to respond with the words, "Yes, sir," or "Yits Grozdoyin Nakognik," which literally translates to "Yes, Citizen Chief." The impressively large Caucasian shepherd dogs are used to patrol the prison and for escorts. These huge dogs weigh from 100 to 170 pounds. Caucasian shepherds are a serious guardian breed, bold, fearless, and fierce when a threat is presented. Housed in this prison is Oleg Reklev. He is a notorious rapist. From 1993 to 1997, he assaulted 37 underage girls. 4 of the children were tortured to death. He also killed one of the children's mothers out of fear of being caught. The rest of his days on this earth will be spent at Black Dolphin. One of the most infamous inmates here was Vladimir Nikolaev. Vladimir has a long criminal history, but it was his murder convictions that brought him to Black Dolphin. According to his account, Vladimir accidentally killed his drinking buddy in a fist fight. He carried him upstairs to his apartment, attempted to revive him in cold water. When he realized his friend was dead, he dismembered him and boiled a hunk of his meat and ate it. He didn't find that boiled meat to his liking, so he tried to roast a chunk. He also sold 11 pounds of flesh to his friends, telling him it was antelope meat. One of those friends gave it to his wife, who then cooked it for her children. He used the money to buy alcohol. He was originally sentenced to death in 1999. With the death penalty being suspended, his sentence was replaced with life in prison. He will serve that sentence at Black Dolphin Prison. There's not much more known about Black Dolphin Prison. As being deep in the heart of Russia, little information is ever given out. The only thing we do know is this is one of the toughest and hardest prisons in Russia, surpassed only by Fire Island. The prison from the outside is an unassuming building, looking like a rundown ghetto. However, the inside is as hard as it gets. If you find yourself passing through the front door of this prison, know you will never see the outside again. I could not find an exact date when the Black Dolphin statues were made. However, I will assume that when the jail was rebuilt in 2000, that's when they were put in place. So we took on the Black Dolphin Prison in Russia. Now you go take on the world, but don't get locked up doing it.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Mel.
And together we host the podcast Spoil My Movie.
We were watching movies anyway.
And we were having in-depth conversations about those movies too.
So we decided to share our thoughts with the world.
You can expect me to gripe about inaccurate details like supposedly cold weather, but you can't see anyone's breath.
And you can expect me to be totally adorable, but also psychologically deep.
And by the end of each episode, we'll provide our respective ratings,
using a rating scale custom tailored to the movie in question.
Check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
We're everywhere. We're actually behind you right now.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.